Hello. I'm here to answer some of the questions that you've raised about our policy abroad. Thank you very much for taking the trouble to write in. I can't answer all the questions, but let me take some of them for you. Ben Wolfenson asks, when is the government going to start worrying about the problems of our country, street violence, drugs, poverty, etc., instead of getting involved with other countries and causing other problems? Well, if it was ever true that we could pull up the drawbridge and not worry about things abroad, it certainly isn't true today. This is actually a very small world. What happens in one part of the world affects British interests very markedly, and as we know from the issues regarding terrorism in particular, it can be exported all over the world. We get involved in the root causes of terrorism to try and prevent issues such as economic collapse, poverty, and we work through our wonderful overseas development agency, DFID, in order to try and find answers to those. So the reason why we're involved abroad is because you can't leave it alone, and if you want to do good work at home, you sometimes have to start abroad. As a slight variation of that, Wayne Baker asks, why do we have a Minister for the Middle East? Well, the Middle East is a crucial area for the United Kingdom. It does have its problems. Everyone's aware of the Middle East peace process and the issues that have gone on for decades, but it's also a place of opportunities. And the British government is involved because it wants to encourage cultural exchanges, it wants to encourage trade, it wants to help countries who want answers to political issues to work through them. We can't tell people what to do anymore, but by getting involved in the Middle East, then we think it's an important and worthwhile thing to do. I'm asked a specific question about Middle East policy now by Whistler Sub FM. Why in relations with the Middle East does the UK seem to always take the side of Israel rather than the Palestinians? Well, this is a frequent question. The United Kingdom makes no doubt about its view that Israel has a right to exist as a sovereign and secure state, and Israel's right to existence will be protected. But there are many areas where we're critical of Israel's policy, and I sometimes think that people don't always see it. Recently, in relation to the tragedy of the flotilla, we were very sure that Israel had serious questions to answer. We deplored the killings. We helped getting a measure through the United Nations to call for an inquiry which had an independent international element, and we worked with many others to try and open up Gaza. One of the issues I've been asked today has been about Israel's settlement policy. I've made it clear we regard it as wrong. Building settlements on occupied land is illegal, and we've made that clear. We support a two-state solution with Jerusalem as a shared capital. I'm not necessarily sure everybody in Israel supports something like that. So there are areas where we do take quite strong views against Israel, but I think sometimes people only see what they want to see. So it's very important I get the chance to make that point. A couple of others, briefly, if I may. Where do you stand on Turkey and the EU under Tory leadership? We support the accession of Turkey to the EU. To have a moderate Muslim secular state able to join the EU, if it wishes, is in our view very important. Turkey faces both to the west and to the east, is in a key strategic position, and our view is that the EU will be strengthened by Turkey's accession. And a couple of others, slightly lighter. Simon Hildreth asks, how long do you think you will have this job before being shuffled to another department? Well, Mr Hildreth, I don't really know. That's up to the Prime Minister. Not surprisingly, I'm quite keen on continuity. I think it matters when you're building up relationships that you stay in post for a certain length of time to make those relationships work. And by coming out to the Middle East so early in my time as Foreign Minister, then I want to make sure that I can build on the relationship. So it is up to the Prime Minister to choose how long I stay in the post, but I hope he gives me a while. And lastly, Josiane Johnson, no questions to you because our politicians do not listen and do not answer anyone. Well, Josiane, I try to. We can't answer everybody's questions, and sometimes the answers we give aren't necessarily what people like. As a politician, I have a duty to listen, I have a duty to understand, I have a duty to explain. I don't have a duty to agree with everybody who asks me a question. But I hope you will feel that so long as you have the opportunity, I will try and give honest answers to questions, whether in letters, whether in the House of Commons, whether in meetings. I will seek to do that. And I think that goes for all the ministers in the Foreign Office. So thank you for the opportunity to answer all these. Thank you for your questions, and I'm sure we'll probably do this again.